Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand evening, y'all. Welcome to the Day with Trae, an evening special, and surely a Black Star Power episode because, y'all, I got Sherri Shepherd. You heard me right, Sherri Shepherd with me in the Black Media Matter studios tonight. And I'm excited to be able to dive in with her about her illustrious career, all the things that she's been able to do and the ways that she's been able to bring joy, laughter, and her powerful insight to the public at large. So welcome, Sherri. How are you?
Trae, thank you so much. You keep saying I'm here with Sherri Shepherd. I'm here with Trae Holiday.
Come on.
Okay, and already I'm going like Oprah needs to be sitting here. I'm looking at you going, I'm just learning from you. You are so good.
Well, you know what? This is really special for me because you are someone who is doing the work at a level where people really get to experience that inspiration and the joy you bring on the daily. So I've got to talk to you about this because people talk to me all the time about the Day with Trae and what I'm doing here and inspiring folks.
Right.
I want to dive right into that.
Okay.
You know, tell us about how you are continuing to inspire yourself to do what you do.
You know what? Trae, every day I'm so grateful. I stay in this place of being grateful when I wake up in the morning of God blessing me with a 23, 24-year dream of having my own talk show. And every time I stand behind the doors, I pray for the audience that is out there, my live studio audience, and I pray for whoever is watching me on TV that God would touch them in a place and bless them to see a side of him that they don't get to see much. And that's the side of God that loves to laugh and a side of God that he likes a dirty joke every now and then because wouldn't put me in the chair if he didn't, you know, and that they will feel better than when they came. Yeah. And so, you know, I'm inspired every day because first of all, I know my show is God ordained and I know that it's touching people. I'm not a minister, but I think my ministry is through laughter. And I'm always asking God, work through me. Show me what I'm supposed to, because sometimes I'm standing back there behind those doors and I go, I don't have any jokes. I don't feel funny today. I don't know how to do this. And that's why I have to really rely on his strength. And I know it's God ordained because once the doors open, I twirl, I say one more prayer that I don't fall, that my knees don't knock, because I'm knock-kneed, that they don't knock together and I don't fall. But once I walk out that door, I don't think about anything else.
Yeah. You know, to me, I think that's the power of living in purpose on purpose. And it's something that really has guided me because I always tell the story being young, seeing my mentor on stage, Felicia V. Loud, who's an amazing actress and songstress here and beyond. And when I was young and I saw her on stage and I said, oh my gosh, she's singing and acting and Roll Up Thunder, Hear My Cry, and she's the main character. And I'm like, in elementary school. And then later in my life, she comes through my theater troupe because I was leading this theater troupe at Garfield High, Bulldogs. She comes through as a guest of my mentor then, my acting mentor, Justin Emeka. And I'm like, oh, you know, and then later being able to work with her on stage in, you know, behind the camera in a movie. You know, she played Bessie Smith and I played young Bessie in theater. And then she was my mother in a movie. Wow. When I think about that, sometimes you think, wow, I wouldn't have known then that I would get to this place now. What was that like for you when you were young and you were dreaming to be that young girl in that dream?
Well, it's so funny because my father took us to see The Wiz when I was a little girl. And I saw a lady with brown skin who I don't think Stephanie Mills was wearing a wig back then. And I saw her and I said, she looks like me. And I remember she saying, when I think of a place, I think of home. And I just, I was so, like, we were up in the balcony because my father couldn't afford to sit us down and my shoe fell off, hit some lady in the head. I was so enthralled. And she placed that seed in me to want to be an actress. I couldn't articulate it then, but I always think about Stephanie Mills. And then watching Oprah Winfrey on a talk show, I just was like, that lady looks like me. We got the same kind of hair. We got the same kind of skin. That's why representation does matter. A lot of people say, oh, it's not about color. It's just about being the best. No, no, no. You need to see somebody that looks like you because it makes it look possible. Yeah. And watching Oprah, and she was in Chicago as well, watching Oprah on her show, I kept going, I want to do that. And then even being able to go to the show, I was ghetto as hell on the show because they was advertising, you know, if your man cheated on you, come. That's how they used to do. Oprah was like, if your man cheated on you, come be on the Oprah Winfrey. And I called, and I was so ghetto. Oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed. But I remember seeing her, and I said, I want to do that, and that set the stage for me and who I am now. You know, watching Whoopi Goldberg when she did her first comedy special, I said, I want to do that. And to know that I actually got to work with, I almost said Whoopi Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg for 7 years. Like, she set the stage for me to want to do stand up. So 3 very, very separate and powerful Black women. I saw them and I saw them in me.
Yeah. Well, that's a moment for me that I'm having right now, right? Because for you to be here is such a big deal for me. And honestly, I am always driven by the stories my platform can help elevate and amplify, right?
Yes.
And so for me, there's something so touching and inspiring about the everyday person who is running a program, who is part of an organization, who is writing a book, whatever it is. But the idea is that people step out on their faith to really pour into themselves, but to be driven by what they're imparting on other people. So I really appreciate what you were sharing in terms of God worked through me to touch the folks in my audience, to touch those who are watching, because that is so pivotal. Now you've made completely an amazing name for yourself, amazing reputation. What is it for you in terms of continuing that reputation and growing it so that, you know, you're anchored in not only your own personal faith and your spiritual journey, but again, that next leg that somebody else needs to see when they see, you know, them and you?
I always say, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I'm very spiritual. And I tell people you got to have something to hang on because times are going to get rough. You know, it'd be nice if we could all had a career where it was, you know, we get to go, oh, it just happened. I just smiled and they gave me a TV show. I would love to be able to say that. You would love to be able to say that. But that's, you know, that's not the way it works. And what anchors me and centers me is God, because those days when I've had an argument with somebody or when something's not going, you know, a family member calls me right before I walk out going, cuz, can you put money on my books? It's just like, I have to know that God has got this. Or that's a funny example, but when I have to work against myself, people say, what is the biggest challenge? It's Sherri. So when I'm sitting there and the nerves jump on me and I go, am I going to be able to show people that I'm different from the queen? You know, I took Wendy Williams' time slot, that my show is different. Am I going to be able to sustain this talk show, make people want to tune in every day? And you know, that thing jumps on you and it covers up your face like this fear, you know, that, fear of people finding out that you are an imposter, that thing that says you don't deserve it. Who do you think you are? All of that gets on me, all of that. And I have to know that God said it so. And I have to say to myself, Sherri, God already wrote this. You just have to walk in it. Yeah. You just have to step in it. And that's what I tell people all the time. If you know God wrote it, walk on into it because he'll give you everything that you need. But a lot of people will say, you know, what do I do? Why is this not happening for me now? Mm-hmm. And sometimes I heard a pastor say, you have to mature into the reality of what that dream would be. And if you're not mature in it, God is not going to give it to you yet, because the moment things crash, you got to be able to have something that anchors you, that you can hold on to. And so for me, that's what anchors me literally is God, and knowing that everything that I've done up until this, because he didn't say no, he said not yet. So, but in the not yet, he provided opportunities for me to learn and to grow, so that, you know, when something goes wrong, I go, if he didn't give me this talk show at 30, because it would have been all about Sherri. I'd have been cute. I'd have been living my best life. Honey, I would have been, it would have been a mess. and it wouldn't have lasted long. He gave it to me at my age at 57. You know, I go, Lord, I don't know why you did my memory. I don't know. I'm tired. But at 57, I know who I am. I'm very, very confident because I've gone through a lot of things that made me me. So, and I'm not scared to fight for what I believe in for this show. I have a vision and I know who I'm serving. So at 30, I'd have been like, whatever you want me to do. I don't care. You want me to stand on my head? You want me to talk a different way? I didn't know who I was at 30. So he gave it to me now because I'm ready for it. So sometimes when you start thinking, why isn't it happening now? Sometimes it's you're not quite ready. And I need to let you go through some things so that you got all of this underneath you that you can lean on. So when I give it to you, not only will it be about you, it's going to be about what can you do for others and how can you serve other people. So that's what keeps me anchored as well. Because I'm like, Sherri, it's not about you. It's not about you.
You know, that's so powerful too, because I think from the outside looking in, a lot of folks don't realize like the anchor you have to have in order to show up authentically as yourself every day. And then those days where you have that self-talk that you have to defeat, you know, like, oh no, you're not going to defeat me. I got to defeat you. I got to keep going.
That's a daily thing. Fear, getting over fear and being intentional about moving past the fear. My mantra every day when I wake up, I go, do it scared. Because I've battled fear all of my life. Fear of speaking up, fear of, I remember Toni Braxton texted me and she was like, girl, let's hang out. I was like, oh, why Toni Braxton want to hang out with me? You know, and getting over that fear of people going to see that I'm not enough and knowing that, no, I am enough. And I know what I bring to the table. But fear is a big factor why a lot of people don't start or don't show up. And that's every day. I'm gonna have to kick fear in the ass. So my mantra is do it scared.
Oh, well, I love that. And also too, I mean, I want to talk about the team it takes, because I think sometimes, you know, people see the one person on the outside, you're doing, you know, but how do you build that proper team? What does that look like? Because I know for me, my team here, they really are always supporting me, and I couldn't do what I do without them. But you know, we're all family. And so we got to be able to keep it real with one another. We got to be able to take that criticism, right, and learn and grow through it. Tell us more about how you've been building that team around you.
You know, having a good team around you is so important because, and I'm not going to take away from you or me. We are the face. Right. So people see us, but this wouldn't happen if it wasn't for everybody working behind the scenes to make it happen. But you're the face. You get the glory, but you also get the bad stuff as well. But it's so important to have a team that you can trust and believe in. And for women, for men as well, but I speak a lot to women. Having mentors is really, really important. Stepping outside of your comfort zone to find women who do what you do so that you can do it. You know, it's like we paved the way for these other women, so you don't have to have it as hard as we had it. So use us. And I tell people, it's just like I tell people what I make. If you're in the same, and other people have talked about it, Sunny Hostin, I told her what I made so she can make more. Lonnie Love, I told her what I made as a talk show host so she can make more. Cheryl Underwood, you doing the same thing. Like, I don't want people to walk in and be scared and not know how much they're supposed to make as a talk show host. And so I tell, now, again, I said, if you work at the grocery store, you ain't gonna know what I make. But mentorship is so important, because it helps ground you. It helps anchor you. You got somebody to talk to. If something goes wrong, I'm very thankful that Robin Roberts, I can text her. I can text Karen Johnson, Whoopi. I can text Oprah. I can text Gayle King. Kelly Ripa and I go to lunch, because I've sought out these women and said, look, I don't know what I'm doing in this thing. I need your help. And each one of these ladies gives me something. So that's part of my team of mentors. And they let me know when I'm going, like Oprah says to me, I'm kind of dreading this phone call with Oprah, because she's going to go, how are you going to elevate? That's the question she's going to, I already know, how are you going to elevate? Dang, I just did Beyonce 6 outfit changes. Because she makes you sit and think of how can you be better on the same budget. And that team is really important because it helps me fly. A team behind you, I think you really have to elevate your team needs to feel seen. I tell my team all the time at the Sherri Show, I need you to fly with your creativity. Because I can sit here and make the jokes and be the face, but if stuff is not going right, nobody's gonna watch.
Yep.
So I need your creativity so I can regurgitate what you bring to me. And especially my brown people on my team. I say this is the first time in history you have a showrunner who's a Black woman, you have an executive producer, John Murray, and you have who's Black, and a talk show host who's Black. Never in on any show has that happened. And I tell them, come be nurtured by us. And I tell them also, I don't want to keep you here because I want to train you to do your own talk show. Yeah. I don't want to see you here in 5 years. I want you. So I think you have to empower your team so that they know they can fly. And I tell them, my blessing is not just for me. Everybody should be eating off Sherri Shepherd's blessing. And if you don't capitalize on this blessing, because I don't know when God is going to say this talk show is over. Right. And I tell my Graham team, I tell the interns, the producers, if you're not capitalizing on this blessing, shame on you. Because here's the opportunity. Go out and do makeup for other people. Tell them you're on the Sherri Shepherd show. If you're producing, go do independent productions. Go work and don't just come here. I want you to fly. And in 5 years, I'm going to be firing you because I need you to go and change the world.
You know what? I just got to say, it's beautiful to hear that as your perspective. You know, one of my strong mentors always tells me, who are you setting up to follow your footsteps? Ooh. Like, who are you setting up to replace you? Right. Yes. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good one, right? Because, you know, Omari and I, we started co-hosting a show during during COVID, and we were like, our community needs resources. Omari said, Trae, I want to do this show. I need you to come and host it with me, right? Because he's like, I don't even really want to be on camera. I need you to. Right. And honestly, at that moment, we knew we were doing something that was really strong for community. Yeah. And he said, look, we may only have 2 people watching, my mom and my daddy, but we gonna produce this like 1 million people are watching.
There you go.
And that's been really a thorough line here at Converge Media, where it's like Black-owned media, not only does it matter, but the quality that we want to produce matters. And when my mentor said that to me, I said, you know what? I didn't have anyone at the time. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what that looks like, because as I grow, I want folks to be able to see that growth and really see the dedication that I have to put in to make it so. But something like this, you know, getting somebody knowing, oh yeah, when I have people, I'm always telling them now, they need to come and talk to Trae. This is a huge opportunity for me, because I go, wow, when we first started saying that, people didn't know that I was here and that I was doing this. And so I think about, for you, that when you talk about elevate, and Oprah telling you to elevate, what is that for you in terms of like, man, I got all this right now. What is that next thing that's like, oh my gosh, when I get there, woo.
It's like the question your mentor asked you, like, who are you training to take your place? I never thought of that. Yeah. Can you say, hey, family? Yeah. Trae, can you say, hey, family? Okay, all right, well, I already got one person who can be replacing me. That's such a good question. And I think, you know, like having somebody like Oprah ask me that, it really made me think about how can I make this show better? How can I be of service to people? For me, and I'm so thankful, part of my team is my best friend, John Murray. He's so brilliant. Norfolk University. And he loves everything TV. And he gave up everything to go on this journey with me. And we really sat down and he said, Sherri, what is it that you want to do? And one of the things that I always wanted to do was give flowers to people who couldn't normally get on a talk show. Kiki Shepherd, Showtime at the Apollo. When I tell you, I said, I want to give flowers to her because I used to watch Showtime at the Apollo, but she probably wouldn't be able to get on Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. But I said, but for the community, they remember Kiki Shepherd. And so when she came out, Trae, they gave her a standing ovation and she cried. And I just was so, you know, and I just loved Smokey Robinson coming on the show and me getting to talk about, you know, everything he did. And Frida Payne, she sang, all that I've done is a band of gold. And she came and she said, Sherri, I've never been able to get on a talk show. Wow. And she came on and got to tell stories of when Teddy Pendergrass was dating, she wanted to date a thug, so she dated Teddy Pendergrass, and they got stopped by the police, and he threw the cocaine in her shirt. I mean, it's like, you know, and I literally was like, oh my gosh. And, you know, being able to give Sally Jesse Raphael, who had a talk show, being able to sit across from her. And so that's something Dr. Bobby Jones, he just texted me the other day and he said, coming on your show. And it's so funny because sometimes people are not going to understand why you do certain things. And, you know, and I work for people who are not of the same persuasion, and they go, Dr. Bobby Jones, they don't even know who he is. But when I tell you, that's the largest crowd we've ever had for any guest was Dr. Bobby Jones, who broke all of the gospel artists that we see today, the Kirk Franklins, the Mary Marys. And when he sat there and told his stories, and I'm just sitting here like this, he texted me, he said, I'm still getting work. Like, people are calling me to host things, and thank you. We had Susan Taylor, the Essence, you know, and she got to, and she says, darling, people are calling from all over the world. And I was like, I did that for you. But for me, that was one of the segments that we put in there of giving, you know, giving people their flowers. And when she said elevate, I said, people are going through mental health, especially Black people. We're just trying to figure out how to make it from day to day. And it's COVID, and we're lonely, and we're single mothers, and we're, you know, that's something I had to fight for, because my show is an entertainment show. So I had to explain why I wanted a mental health segment and why I needed a Black man to do it and a Black woman to do it. And then at the end of the day, I said, because I want to do it. Because that's why at this age, I can go, because I want to do it. Yeah. Not, can we do it? Is it okay? I want to do it because I know how important it is, and I know who I'm serving. I'm number one with Black women, 25 to 54. Wow. That's my core demographic. And I go, so when she said elevate, it was like, what are the things that are important to me? Not what are important to everybody else. What's important to me? Because if it's important to me, then probably it's important to other people. And I know I'm a single mother. I'm raising a child with special needs. I'm raising he's a teenager who wants to have sex all the time. So I'm going to have some therapists on there to talk about your children and sex. You know, I know I'm a businesswoman. I know I'm a woman who deals with fear. So it's like all of those things. When she says, how are you going to elevate? I need to bring more of me into the show.
Come on.
I hope I answered that question.
You give me all the goosies today. Because you're absolutely right. I think being able to stand in your authenticity, your truth is so important. I know for me, there's always an element of community. And I love hearing how you were talking about giving people their flowers, because I always think of this everyday person who just would never be able to be on a platform. That's like they're not elevated at all. And I love that's something that drives you. You just like completely opened up my perspective to what I'm seeing in mainstream TV. Yeah. Because I have always had this thing, well, man, of course, you know, they're celebrities, they're getting celebrities on, you know, right? But for you to have that level of intentionality in your guests is really special. So thank you for doing that.
Girl, you know what's funny, and you do this too. I'm on social media all the time, and I see people's stories, and I send them to John Murray, and I say, we got to get this person on the show. There's a guy I featured. He's the UPS guy, and he dances all the time. And it started out, he's very sexy, but he DM'd me because I gave him a shout out. I love giving people shout outs, because even if I can't have you on as a guest, I can shout you out, and that's going to give you attention because I have this platform. And so everybody on his route was telling him that they saw my show. And he said, I dance because I deal with depression. And and through therapy, I lost my mom and my dad. And I go, wow, what a story. And I said, John, at first I was going to have him on here to dance sexy with me. And that was the route I was going to go. Yeah. Cougar. And I said, but he has a story. And if he's dealing with depression and having to go to work with a smile every day, and he uses dancing to do it, then other people are using methods to cope. And I want to share his story. So it's not, I name the celebrities because I think about them, but it's regular people as well to be able to tell their stories. Now, it's a fine line, because a talk show, it's always about ratings and about your advertisers. There's the business part of the talk show, because a lot of people will come on and say, girl, I got a book and I want to talk about, and I say, well, if Beyonce comes on and talks about your book and she sing, we can do it. Like I can't service everybody because it's about the ratings. and we still have to have people tune in. And sometimes people, they tune in when they know that somebody they've seen before is going to be on the show. But I do try to slip it in and do more of it. So as the season goes into our third season, I want to do more. You know, first season, I wasn't able to do human interest because it was a new show. We were coming behind the queen who did it a certain way. So we needed to still keep a lot of that audience and bring the fun. And then I would slip in little things. And now second season, I was able to do more human interest stories. Now third season, you slip in stuff. Third season, I'm even able to do more. So it's a game that you have to play, but it's a way, how do you navigate and play that game so that you can still get done what you want to get done.
Well, I'm really excited that you've been able to keep true to you as you play the game.
Yeah.
I think too, there's this misnomer that, you know, there's these powers that be and you have to kind of succumb to it. And like you said, in your 30s, maybe you would be, okay, well, what do I got to do? But the fact that there is also some support for you to just be able to be you and to be able to slip those in as you can, it is beautiful to hear for someone like me. But I also think about, you know, you're here in the Pacific Northwest and I'm excited because you're here, but I want to talk to you about the audiences that you come across throughout the country.
Yeah.
You know, how is it to play to different audiences when you have a set, right? I mean, for comedy, you have a set. And different audiences respond to different things in a different way. Tell us about the way that you are received by these audiences when you are taking yourself on, you know, to all of these different spaces throughout the country.
I want to answer that, but something that's sticking in my mind, if I may, go back a little bit when you were talking. The things that you want to do and fight for. This is why it's important to have a team behind you that shares your vision so that you're not doing the fighting by yourself. Because if you have people who don't share your vision, it's going to be chaos. And that's why it's so important when you're talking to people, you're trying to see how are you like-minded? Because when you do have to go to battle and fight, it's not always you fighting against everybody. Yeah. So I wanted to say that. So when I say I slip it in, it's John Murray fighting, and he takes a lot of the bullets for me. It's Fernita Wynn, who's our showrunner, executive producer, who, you know, they didn't want me to do Beyonce for Halloween because they said everybody gonna be doing Beyonce. And I said, not the way I'm gonna do Beyonce. Not the way. And then Fernita went back to the powers that be because we had to get money to all these outfit changes, and she fought for me. You know, John Murray fought for me when I said I need mental health. I gotta have people. So you have to have a team that gets it, that is willing to go toe to toe with everybody on your behalf. So I wanted to put that out there when you talk about team being important. But the audiences that I get, you know, when I travel across the country, man, doing stand up. I get people who come to comedy, they've never been to a comedy club before. It is so amazing. You know, I get women, because I like to challenge women my age to go out and take risks. Life is short. If you've ever wanted to do stand-up, that's why I started Funny Over 50 on my show. Like if there's ever been dreams that you put on the shelf with the fine china because you had to take care of your kids, you had to take care of a spouse, you were going through a divorce, and you just put those dreams, or you thought that they were just dreams. Now is the time. If we didn't learn anything from being in the house for 2.5 years with COVID, now is the time. Go ahead and take it, try it. You got nothing to lose, but you don't want to go and be at the end and go, I wish I would have tried it. So many people come to my show and they're just like, I just came because I never came to a club before and I wanted to see you. And, you know, I had some older people in Baltimore. I had 5 sold out shows. And I swear, I was like, well, did all the nursing home people come? But that was okay. They were poking the waitress and they had all this security. And I said, ain't no gun. We ain't gonna have no fights. If not in my show, somebody pacemaker may go off. You may sound like bullets, but so I get so many people that I feel like I have inspired to take chances, to have inspired them to smile a little bit more. I've inspired them to look at a person past what they think this person is and who they are at the core. Yeah. So I love going outside of New York and LA and meeting regular people. Also keeps me grounded because when you're in Hollywood and LA, when you're in Hollywood and you're in New York, you start, it's a town of visuals, and it's a town of you got to look this way and you got to sound this way. And when I come to a Seattle or a Baltimore, it's real people.
Yeah.
It's like one sister said to me, she said, "You look so good." And my automatic response was, "I know, but I got to lose this weight." And she said, "Sis, say thank you. That stomach birth babies. That stomach make men feel good. Just say thank you." And I made it a joke.
I love that.
And I said, this is when you come out of that bubble of Hollywood. That was a sister from Baltimore. She said, "Just say thank you. You got to go in all, I don't care about all that." And I made a joke. I said, I love my belly. I love my belly. My belly make a man, when he put his hand on my belly, he want to get stocked. Right. He wants to buy duplexes. He wants to dream again. So I love going just around the country.
Well, I just got to say, you're such a breath of fresh air, and I really thank you for making time for me today. This has been...
Oh, we got the lights.
No, not at all. Don't tell me like, hey, we got time, but I know you got things
Can
to
I
do.
say this?
Please.
You are so good. You are so wonderful because you make it, you make it so that a person feels comfortable. Yeah. You make them comfortable, and then you make it comfortable so a person wants to share. And the smile, don't ever lose the smile. That's your money right there. That's your goal. But you're really good at just being in your authentic self, of just going, here I am. And it's like, you can say, hey, family.
Yeah, come on. Hey, family.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It looks like I got a new mentor.
Don't ask me, who's raising up to take your place? I'm be like, have you heard of Trae Holiday?
There we go.
Yes, girl.
Yes, thank you so much. This
been awesome.
For me is everything, and I appreciate it. I know for me, I have dealt with, how do we get the right folks to not only experience what we do here, right? Yeah. Because our team here is all about the experience, right? We want to make sure you got what you need, water, coffee, snacks, right? All of that. But then for you to be able to be with me today and share your authentic self with my authentic self, I done found me a friend. I'm so grateful for you and your entire team for helping to make this happen.
Well, whatever I can do, yeah. I'm here for you.
There we go. Y'all, this has been such a phenomenal The Day with Trae and evening special, of course, with Miss Sherri Shepherd. So glad that we were able to just sit here, chop it up, and show you her authentic self. I'm telling y'all, not only
let me tell you something. On my show, I got a teleprompter, and I'll be saying all of this on the teleprompter. The words come up in the teleprompter, and y'all sit there going, Sherri's so smart. How she know all that? This girl has no teleprompter. There's not a card. Y'all don't understand how hard this is. There's no questions. All my questions on teleprompter. When that teleprompter go off, I'm like, oh, somebody better put them words on the damn screen. You are really good. Wait till I tell Oprah how my elevator. I'm like, I don't even need a teleprompter. I'm going to do this off the top of my head. We may get canceled because I don't know what's going to come out my mouth, but I'm not using nothing. I'm doing the Trae Holiday method. You need to TM that, trademark the Trae Holiday method.
Wait a minute, y'all. She got me all the way to career.
I'm like, where's that prompter? No words coming up, nothing. Right. No cards, nothing.
Y'all heard it from Sherri Shepherd herself.
The Trae Holiday method. Ask somebody. If you don't know, ask your mama.
I am beyond grateful. Oh my gosh, y'all. This has been fantastic. Please make sure you tune in to Sherri, her very own talk show, as she is doing the work to make sure that folks who have inspiring stories are inspiring you. Thanks so much for watching. Continue to build us up here in the Pacific Northwest, because you know Trae Holiday is here for all of the inspiration. I appreciate y'all for watching, and thank you again.
Thank you, girl. Thank you.
Till next time, y'all. Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.